guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale with a very special video. I am hyped right now to be joined by none other than who else would be the first ultimate champion in the entire world than Pompeyo, okay? Pompeyo. It's funny, I had him on just 5 days ago in the channel in case you missed it. It was with his Golem Beatdown deck that he used to get very, very high, top 10 in the world. But then he recently switched back to his bread and butter, back to the Xbow, baby, and he's proving again why he is the GOAT in Clash Royale, the greatest of all time. This guy is an absolute stud, and you guys, if you're at all interested in high quality, high caliber Xbow play, the highest, there's no one higher than Pompeyo, right? Go ahead and enjoy these replays. We're going to show you the matches that led to Pompeyo becoming the first ever ultimate champion inside the game. First time it's ever been done. Last season, no one got this high. This season, we already have a second person. Shout out to Nova Maddie here. He was the second to get to ultimate champion. Unfortunately, the record book shows the first is what really matters on these things, right? And honestly, I'm glad that Pompeyo got there. I mean, what a great guy. What a great player, obviously, in the community. He's been here since day one, since beta. This guy it's a shame he doesn't want to come on voice. We haven't heard his voice, Pompeyo. He's one of the only top players who we haven't heard from in terms of a YouTube channel or streaming or anything like that. But hey, we still get to listen to his tips. We still get to watch his gameplay. So before we get into the play-by-play here, and he actually, as fate would have it, he actually played against a nice variety of archetypes leading up to his Ultimate Champion match. The Ultimate Champion match, by the way, is right now on the screen. And you can see, if you missed it, you might want to rewind because it was a really good sequence where Pompeyo put down his Xbow after he saw the Lava Hound coming at him in the left. He took down the right tower there of the mayor, and then he defended really, really well against a Lava Hound Battle Ram combo. We're also going to watch a Lava Loon replay so you can kind of get a feel out of how to play a siege deck against the vilified Lava Loon deck, all right? So that's going to be the last replay of today's video. So we're kind of going back in time, if you will, from the most recent match that Pompeyo had to get to Ultimate Champ to the least recent out of the 5 matches that we're going to watch today. One of them is going to be a draw, by the way, which is really important because he didn't have any losses leading up to his #1 finish, I guess you could say, or his #1 achievement, but he did have a draw, and it's smart to know, especially as a siege player, when to play for a draw. A lot of people don't like drawing, so they play extra aggressive when it comes to overtime especially, or even double elixir time, the last 2 minutes of a ladder match, the last 4 minutes of a challenge match. And that's not something that Pompeyo does. Pompeyo's a smart guy, so if he knows that the numbers or if the math isn't in his favor, or if he just can't pull out a victory, he's totally comfortable playing for a tie. Now, again, he didn't use this deck to get all the way to the top. He just used this deck to kind of as a specialized deck, as his specialty. This is really his bread and butter, to get from like 8 to 1 to, to uncharted territory over 6,400 cups. Incredible, right? So he did use the beatdown. He used the classic Golem, Mega Minion, Baby Dragon, Lightning, beatdown, pump. That's 5 of the cards. You guys can figure out the rest. I think minions and no, I don't think there was Electro Whiz. I don't know. But anyway, you can watch. I'll link that video if you guys haven't checked that out, because he does break down some of his rules to how to play beatdown successfully. But again, today is all about his accomplishment and all about this Xbow deck. So this is the same Xbow deck that he's been playing forever and just dominating with, just doing so well. What I'm going to do is, this is going to be the replay here, guys, that I talked about, that is going to be the tie. So we're going to see why he played for a tie and how he starts off the match. So you can see, starting off pretty slow. His opponent hasn't played a ton of their cards yet. Now once he sees that hog, he defends against the hog, and he thinks at this point he's probably playing a hog cycle deck. I don't think he's seen the giant at this point. Once he sees the giant, he's going to know that he might be in trouble here, because as an Xbow player, when you're going against a hog rider and a giant in the opponent's deck. I mean, that's pretty difficult to go against. So what he's probably going to do after he sees that the opponent's playing 2 of those pretty decent counters to Xbow is play conservatively. Look for a spot. It's not like he's going to play for the tie from the very beginning of the match. But as things progress through the match, if he sees that he just can't get that spot, can't punish the opponent because of a mistake, then it's probably just going to sit back and play defensively. And you can already see, using that Inferno Tower, unfortunately, one tile too far back there, and he kind of leaves himself susceptible to a hit or two by that Hog Rider on that right tower for Pompeyo, or I guess his left tower. I don't know. What do you guys call that? Do you guys, the tower with 24-27, do you guys call it the right tower or the left tower? Because it's Pompeyo's left tower, but for you guys, I think it makes more sense to just say the right tower. Anyway, I digress. So here comes the giant. So as Pompeyo sees the giant here, he's like, okay, man, I'm going to play some defense here. I think he's still going to try to get some Xbows down just to see what happens, but he wants to make sure he's always available, or he has the Inferno Tower, excuse me, always available to cycle to if necessary. Now, this is a cycle deck. It's actually a really fast version of an Xbow deck here, played by Pompeyo, so he can easily get to either the Xbow, or in this case, when he's going to be relying on defensive units, he can actually cycle to that Inferno Tower pretty quickly here. So again, just cycling in the back is Pompeyo. Only 30 seconds left now, so we're into double elixir time. So Pompeyo wants to be really careful here. He's going for ultimate champion. He's not scared to take a tie, ladies and gentlemen. He has no pride on the line in terms of he's not too good to know when, okay, that's a hard counter to my deck, I'm going to go ahead and play things safe. So using the archers here and using the log to stop that Hog Rider, now he has Inferno Tower back in his hand. He plays the Xbow there, tries to sneak it in there, but the giant was ready to pounce on that Xbow there. But look at how fast he was able to cycle back to that Inferno Tower. We are going in double time here because you guys already know the result. It is a tie. So it's just going to be basically a lot of smart defense here by Pompeyo. A fireball there, very good. Gets in a little bit of trouble there, but places the Xbow immediately, knowing that the giant or the Hog Rider that he cycles back to is going to have to get through that Xbow, and there's not going to be enough time to do so. So that's going to be a well played. That's going to be a tie there. Very well played by Pompeyo. So now we're going to go ahead and let's watch this next one here, Graveyard. So against Monfy, a fellow Nova player. Nova all over the place in the leaderboard. Shout out to Nova. They have so many good players. It's ridiculous. And, you know, in Elite Gaming, my clan, we're actually doing really well this season. Right now we're poised to finish top 10 in the world. Our clan, we've been around since day one, literally, of beta when I made the clan, right? And this is the highest finish we'll ever have. So I'm really proud of my guys, just getting that little plug in there. But, you know, we've come a long way, and I'm really proud. But I was going to say is that Nova Esports, they're like cemented at #1 overall. It's going to take a while for us to be able to dethrone them, if ever. But hey, I have faith in the guys. So anyway here, Graveyard being played in the right lane. Just, you know, Nova Pompeyo. Pompeyo actually has a lot of good answers in this deck to Graveyard. So Graveyard is one of the easier matchups, I would say. I'm not sure if Pompeyo agrees, but Graveyard, you know, you have archers, obviously you have log, and you can just cycle so fast that, you know, you have ice golem to distract. You just have a lot of just really fast cards and a lot of solid counters in this deck. And then what you can do is he gets that Xbow to lock on. Now look at that Xbow, guys. It has like, what, 10% health on it? But that's good for about half, almost half of the tower damage off that tower there. It's incredible how much damage an Xbow can do, even if the Xbow only has like 20% health when it locks on. And Pompeyo, being an Xbow, you know, sleuth, he knows definitely how to cycle to the Xbow really fast, and then how to he knows the value of one lock. So he played the Xbow down there. He played the Mega Minion knowing that the bowler was going to be the greatest HP kind of source to get through to get another lock on with that Xbow. So he just barely kills that knight, this time only getting literally a little bit of chip damage against that left tower. So now he's going to go ahead and reload again. So Pompeyo splitting archers. He places his ice golem. Here comes the Xbow. He has one archer right now on that graveyard, but there's nothing tanking for the graveyard. So Pompeyo did a really smart thing there. He placed the Mega Minion. He took some damage on that right tower, and instead he's placing his archer, cycle back to the archers to go ahead and defend for the Xbow. Now, the E-Wiz is actually a pretty good answer to the Xbow, unless it's not protected like you saw there, because it will make the Xbow retarget if the defender gets in some trouble, and they can get another high HP unit down to distract the Xbow. But you can see there that wasn't the case, and Pompeyo, just, you know, one of the best things about Pompeyo as a player, and you see the same thing with a lot of the top players in the game. You see the same thing with Marcel, you see the same thing with Adam, you see this, I mean, there's Guanek, there's so many good players, right? But, you know, they have a very keen sense of when it's a good idea to take a little damage and go hard on the push. And if they're doing that and you as their opponent don't, you know, you're not Johnny on the spot in terms of realizing what's going on here, that's often when they can capitalize and pull off the victory. So now we're going against the hated Spellbait deck. I always say Zapbait because it's kind of, you know, now it's kind of transferred into Log Bait and everything bait. So just Spellbait. I don't know if this is the version with the Hog Rider. We'll have to wait and see here. It could just be the classic. Haven't seen the Hog yet. So, oh, it is the Hog. Okay, so this should be interesting. With the Hog, I was going to say Spellbait, pretty easy for an Expo player. With the Hog makes it a little bit more challenging, but we're going to see how Pompeyo deals with it. So playing that Ice Spirit, going ahead and stopping that Hog Rider, getting like 100 or so HP, or actually more than that, probably about 300 HP off that left tower. So pretty good job there with that Expo again, and you can see he actually has the elixir advantage at this point. So opts to play archers there to go ahead and defend against that Goblin Barrel instead of the log. So he's keeping the log to support his Expo, or depending on what the opponent's going to throw at him next. So he knows that the opponent has Goblin Gang in hand. Here's the Goblin Gang. So he saves the log for Goblin Gang. And what he could have done there is, had he played the Expo before the opponent played the Goblin Gang, he would have logged right away, anticipating that Goblin Gang. So again, the Ice Spirit's going to stop that Hog Rider. Hog Rider only getting one hit on that Expo. And then here comes the Mega Minion. Here comes the Expo. The opponent having no choice but to fireball down that Expo. And I'll tell you what, getting a lot of damage is Pompeyo, just methodically kind of dissecting his opponent here. It's a tough matchup here for, oh boy, Razim? Is it Raz? Is it 3 supposed to be an R? I don't know. You guys know how bad I am at names. I'm a little sick too. Can you hear it in my voice? Sorry, guys. All right, so here's the... Oh, wow. That was a very well played Inferno Tower there, predicting the Expo there. And now the Inferno Tower will be down, but now Pompeyo's probably going to go ahead and... No, I was wrong. I was going to say now he's probably going to use the log. But again, just playing so disciplined is Pompeyo here, using again the Ice Spirit to slow down that Hog Rider. Here comes the Ice Golem. He has log in hand, so now is going to come the log. There it is, log doing extra chip damage, and then the Expo locks onto the tower there. Here comes another Goblin Barrel, knowing that Pompeyo doesn't have log. Whoa, knowing that Pompeyo doesn't have log in hand. Oh my god, Ash, you're falling apart, man. I'm okay, guys, I'm okay. So here comes, so he's finally able to go ahead and get that left tower down. Now all he has to do is defend here. Just another really good job defending. You can see Pompeyo, when he knows he's going up against a Hog Rider, he's always saving that Ice Spirit for the Hog Rider. And just a really good job by Pompeyo here. And it's something that you guys can use too, is if you're going against a Spellbait deck, as a Siege player, specifically an Expo player, save that log to protect your Expo and use whatever, Mega Minion, Archers, whatever you have to defend against the Goblin Barrel instead. It's a little bit different than you normally think of it. So here against Dark Light, this is the Lava Loon that I promised you guys earlier in the episode. I said it was a cycle deck that Pompeyo was playing. He actually doesn't play Skeletons, but it's kind of a really fast deck because he does have the Ice Golem and the Ice Spirit as well. Of course, Log Yeah, it's relatively fast. You can see it on the screen if you want to copy it. And you can compare this to a deck like Nax's deck, One Hive Hunter, when he came on. It's a lot different. It's a little bit more expensive, Pompeyo's that is, but I think it's a little bit better, more well-rounded as well, Pompeyo's deck, that is, compared to Nax's deck. That's just my opinion, and who am I, right? So here comes the Lava Hound, and again, just like the first match, as soon as the Lava Hound is placed on the arena, Pompeyo is ready there with that Xbow. He has the log in hand, so he's going to go ahead and log this Goblin Gang. Now remember, guys, Lava Loon players, or Lava Hound players in general, generally don't have a lot of ground units. Oftentimes they only carry maybe a Tombstone, a Skarmy, or a Goblin Gang, and that's it. So once you're ready for that first wave of ground units hitting your Xbow, after that, you're pretty much in the clear. So Pompeyo's going to probably keep that in mind. He knows that the only ground card that Darklight has in his deck is the Goblin Gang. So he's going to be ready for it, and I think he probably feels pretty confident. So he's going to go ahead and go aggressively on offense, and then with the Xbow, that is, and then he can rely on the Inferno Tower defensively. So the Balloon does not even get to the tower there, and the archers clean up those minions very nicely. The archers are going to stay alive, provide a little bit of support for the Xbow there. So a really, really great start here for Pompeyo, and Darklight's going to go ahead and sacrifice that left tower. Thankfully, that Elixir Pump just barely out of range of that Xbow, and what Darklight is doing right now is an obvious move, right? He has no choice. He's going to do a really, really big final push, and Pompeyo knows it's coming. It's going to go for the gold here, so we're going to watch Pompeyo at his defensive best here, shutting down this Lava Loon push. So Pompeyo drops all his cheap cards, his Mega Minion, his Ice Golem, and his Ice Spirit first. Then he places down the Inferno Tower, and now he's going to be able to cycle all the way back to the Inferno Tower, of course, using Rocket defensively against this Balloon. Not even touching the tower at this point. Inferno Tower up again. 1 second here. Oh my god, things are getting crazy. So a level 5 Lava Hound is now on the tower. Wow, this is insane. He has Rocket ready. He has Rocket selected for this Balloon, and he does use it. Man, this is an intense match. Meanwhile, those archers just going to town in the back there. Good Ice Spirit cleaning up those minions, pulling off the win there. That was such a nice match to watch. How to beat Lava Loon as an Xbow player. That is your textbook right there, ladies and gentlemen. So guys, thank you so much to Pompeyo for sharing his replays and his tips and continuing to come on my channel. It really, means a lot to me, and it means the world to me that you guys continue to watch. So thank you so much, and thank you to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. You can see his information in the description below. Guys, I'm out. Thanks so much, and as always, take care, guys.